Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Thank you. Have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, I have a few things to say this morning. This afternoon. First of all, your morning news anchor, Lindsay DeLuce, is back with us today.
Thank you.
Also back, model, advocate, and the Traders Canada player, Lauren Chan, is here. Really quickly trying to figure out who is whom on this amazing poster in the front row of our show.
Oh, I know who I am.
Okay, so we have Beth Demure Woman. Can you show the camera?
Demure Woman is definitely, I think,
Jess Allen.
Okay.
Freaky Chick is
I think
Cynthia.
That's me. Yes, it is.
And Hot Gal. You know what? I like the short skirt. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. That is really, really, we're grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get this fun Friday. It's already a fun Friday. Let's get it going. So, despite denying rumors that they have taken their romance off screen, Only Murders in the Building stars Meryl Streep and Martin Short are being shipped online after they were seen enjoying a very cozy dinner together in LA. Okay, do we love this idea that they might be a couple?
Just gave us an overwhelming no, but I am obsessed with them. I love the show Only Murders in the Building, and there's a tense storyline of will they, won't they, and I just love how camp it is that it's translated to real life.
Yes. Or they're playing us. It's possible they're playing us, or they're just rehearsing their lines when they're together.
Oh God,
right?
that is so cynical.
This has happened before. Remember that movie? Nobody watched it. Anyone But You, Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. They play a couple, right?
I watched it 2 times.
Okay, that's good.
I was the person.
You're the person, and they're probably their parents. But they played up that whole romance during the promo of the movie to get people to watch. So there might be a chance, even though I love this couple, where they're kind of playing us a little because they play this, hot couple on the show.
Meryl's a really good actor. We know that.
Am I the only shipper up here? How do you feel?
I love them together, and I'll tell you why I love them together, because it's so hopeful, A, that we even care that two people who are in their mid-70s might be hot and heavy. But also, I just love, it is so hopeful to believe that, you know what, not only for him, I think we all love Martin Short, but you know what, love is possible at any age and stage of your life, and don't we need more good news like this? So I hope it's true.
I'm not saying I'm not shipping them. I'm just saying I'm happy for them if they just have a friendship. I'm also happy if it is hot and heavy. I think part of the reason why some people are drawn to this story is because, I'm not sure if people know, that they do share a tragic love histories of their own. So Martin Short was married for 30 years, and the mother of his children died of cancer, Nancy Dolman, a number of years ago. But not a lot of people know that Meryl Streep, her very first love back in 1978, was an actor named John Cazale. He was in The Godfather, you'll recognize him. He was also in Dog Day Afternoon, The Deer Hunter. They were living together. They were planning on getting married when he came down with terminal lung cancer. And he died. She doesn't talk about it a lot. It was, many people consider, the love of her life, so it shaped the rest of her life. So
They could be bonding over this.
Bonding a little bit, in which case, again, whatever the story
Or
is.
selling us the show.
We've seen that on Golden Bachelorette.
We have.
And so I think Martin Short should be the next Golden Bachelor if it's not
I'm obsessed with that show, by the way, The Golden
Bachelor.
Then my biggest takeaway from that show, if anyone's seen it yet, is that to be seen. Right? That idea that you become invisible as you get older and people just don't see you. I've heard that from my parents' friends too. You just don't feel seen. We see you, Meryl.
Yeah.
Martin. I like it. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, we want more PDA. That's just me. That's just me.
Okay, we're gonna move along to call out you Swifties. What would you do if you were offered a ticket to the Eras tour from someone who may be secretly in love with you? Okay, so a woman who's sworn off dating wrote to the Washington Post wanting to know if she should accept a ticket and a trip to see this show from a male friend, or if there will automatically be strings attached. What do we think?
There's an overwhelming yes from this section. You in particular.
All the Swifties are over there.
I'm worried because I can think of 2 instances in my life where I was gifted some tickets and then immediately regretted it as I'm making way into the arena, the stadium.
Yep. What made you regret it?
Because I felt like there was something on the back end. Like there was supposed to be like, now we're going to level 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've rounded first, we're heading to second, and I didn't want to play baseball. Like I didn't sign up. I didn't want to. No, I wanted to be I wanted to be watching the game. I didn't want to be the game. But I remember clearly thinking, like, in the moment, and I had, like, something in my gut was like,
I was just about to say.
Right, something was in my gut. I ignored it because I obviously wanted to go see Justin Timberlake. And then, this is all over Timberlake, girl.
This is a long time ago.
Listen,
let's not be judgmental. Justin Timberlake's a good artist.
And it was a really good show. But then afterwards, the phone calls started. Yeah. And the phone calls didn't stop. And if I didn't answer the phone calls, there was a very long voice message.
There's a great
so
Frankism here. You know, I get what you're saying. My dad, Frank Grelo, very wise man, says to me all the time, no gift is for free. What do you think,
I believe
Lauren?
it.
So when you become a lesbian, you get a master's, a PhD in communication. Okay? We are master communicators. And I think that this woman should transparently say her boundaries and also ask about intentions. And I do remember being on the other side of things and feeling that invisible string that's attached, but not speaking up, right? It's that gut feeling, you think something's off, and you don't say until maybe it's too late.
I mean,
so,
can we just step back for a second? And first of all, I want to say, let's not assume the worst of men. Can we, for once, in our
Maybe, sure.
I think that this is. Thank you, Kwame. Kwame was like there for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Look at all the men.
I think that you need to start to dismantle this idea that straight men are always on the prowl, that they're always expecting. And to your point, it does sound like they've been very communicative. In this case, she said, I'm not interested in dating repeatedly. She said they're also very close friends. He's been given the memo about whatever it is. And if they're both grown adults. So if she wants to take the ticket.
Have you ever had a guy come at you?
The information, take the ticket.
Have you ever been polite by telling a man you're not interested and then he tries again? And you're like polite again, you go, and he tries again. And then you're polite and he tries again. Has that ever happened to you? Because if that's ever happened to you, then you get that gut feeling of like, I know that perhaps he thinks he just needs to push a little bit harder. And then he comes with this very big gift, which is not just tickets to the show, it's a weekend.
It's a trip.
This is thousands
I'm just
of
saying,
dollars.
if she's been clear and he's been clear, the both of them have decided that they want to be friends. If it's on him, if she ends up having to, as long as she has a way of going like, I'm going to get my own hotel if you start crossing a boundary.
But you don't even want to be in that environment. You don't even want to put yourself in that situation.
I know.
In her mind, they're friends, and she's worried. This is why we're talking. She's worried that this gift is coming with strings attached. So I tell all single women, we've been in this situation. Follow your gut. Everybody here has said it. If you feel like, you know what, I feel like maybe once we get into the stadium, it might feel a little bit different. Just don't go, or say, here's the money. How much did it cost? Here's yours. E-transfer that money. So it's very, very clear. So sometimes, and you're right, not all men are villains, but sometimes they really don't want to hear it the first or second. And sometimes you actually have to be like, no, I said no.
So unfortunately. I want to live in a world where we continue to try to show
when you get to
men
that planet,
can do better. I believe in those men as well.
Let me translate. So what you're saying is I shouldn't have gone to the Timberlake show? Was it worth it? Okay, got it.
This girl.
All right, let's launch into our next topic. Former child influencer and the daughter of convicted child abuser Ruby Franke is speaking out about the dangers of parents monetizing their children online. Sherry Franke told Utah lawmakers that there is no such thing as a moral or ethical family vlogger and that vlogging ruined her innocence. It's a big one. All right, so how do you guys feel about consuming this type of content?
I mean, I don't watch a ton of YouTube content, but I will say I do follow some influencers who do feature their kids. And particularly in the early days of motherhood, I found it really comforting. We've talked on the show a lot about how it can be extremely isolating and a lot of moms don't even know where to find other moms and connect and get tips and whatever. So it felt really comforting. And yet as my son has gotten older, while I have included him in some things, he now really has an opinion about it and I respect that. And I feel like when I consume the content, I'm doing it through that lens. A little bit of like, what are the child's rights? And I don't know what that line exactly is, but I know when it's been crossed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I get the ick.
And for you as a mom on your personal mom radar level.
Exactly.
Right? I feel like that's another thing. I'm not a mom, and so I don't have an opinion that I am formed from a human that I'm taking care of. And I feel like it's
I know when
probably
I
a
see
gut.
a kid on a toilet struggling to go to the washroom, that is crossing a line.
That's on YouTube?
And there are things
Everything's
on
on
Instagram.
YouTube. Everything. I
Really?
think for me, the line is pretty clear. I think if your child has become the breadwinner for your family, probably a problem. And unfortunately, I think that has happened a lot. And I say that, I don't want to ever come off as a hypocrite. My daughter's 10 now. She also has an opinion. Sometimes she's telling me, Mommy, put this on Instagram, and I'm like a hard no. And other times, like, technically, I'm not allowed to talk to her about her on this show anymore. But I'm going to do it right now, just for a minute. I'm sorry, Marqueza, to prove the point that she has appeared on my Instagram when we've done brand partnerships with really great companies they've got great stuff for kids that she uses and loves. But the difference is she's not the breadwinner. You know, this is something that she gets, and I tell her, you might get a little bit to have some playtime with this money, but this is actually going to a university fund or what have you. I get to make that decision.
Here's the deal, and that. Okay, first of all, when I heard the words ruined her innocence, it really kind of took me by surprise, because I watched this content and I've heard all the stories and I really never even thought about this. What I'm more enamored with is the money that I hear some of these families making, because I hear what you're saying, but like if you're a regular family and then you hear that somebody's making $14 million a year for their kid unboxing toys,
Everybody knows Ryan's
I will open
toys.
up this uterus and I will make babies. That's where. Especially if you're working really hard and you're like, what, you mean I could stay home and my kid can just play with toys on my phone and we post that I'm making money? That's a hard thing to turn down. And also, I feel like it's just become so normalized. Like, all of my friends have been documenting, even before their kids are born, their pregnancy in the room. Like, I feel like I don't even need to go visit because I know exactly what's happening with their child from day one. And it's so normal. And I think this case is just showing us, you know what, we're finding out now on the back end that all of this content we're putting online, giving children phones, we're figuring it out that, you know what, there is a price to pay, a heavy price to pay, and the kids are suffering.
Liz, you've got 3 kids.
I have 3 kids, 12, 10, and 6.
Are you posting their toilet videos
No,
on
I'm
YouTube?
not posting. I deliberately, Drew and I, my husband and I, I'm not, nor have I ever, deliberately said my kids are not going to be part of the social media that I have. This is their likeness. This is them. This is their lives. This stuff lives forever. I don't care if you delete it. It's still there. And they're not making the decision. I'm making the decision for them to post. It doesn't sit well with me. To each his own, you do you. Not to say that I don't judge people, I do. I sit at home and I'm like, don't we? It's like, why? No, like, come on. Like, it's so obvious what you're trying to do here with your children. Calm down, let them live a life without a lens.
Is there, oh my God.
Well, there's a rule where you can't start a social media account unless you're 13 or some such. So if you can't have your own social media account, why can you be featured in making money in someone else's social content?
Is that the line then? Is it the making money? Because if no one was doing any brand partnerships, if it was just about being intimate
I think
and
that's
connected,
definitely a line, because I think when we're talking about this kind of money, we should be thinking about unions and protections for workers, right? Just like child actors or models are fighting for a union for protections and labor laws. And so that if a situation arises where, God forbid, you have to fight for your rights as a child, you have legislation to back you up, and it doesn't get this bad as this case.
Wild West. The regulations are always slow to catch up to what's really happening.
That's right.
All right, Lindsay, you're up.
I am. All right, switching gears, everybody. Would you know what I meant if I said, okay, hear me out. Ready? These are 2 words I've never said together.
I can't wait to hear you say it.
If I said to you, skibbity toilet, do you know what I'm talking about? Or that's so Ohio. Am I even saying that right?
Yeah.
It is slang. Obviously, I'm not very familiar, but these kids these days, I mean, my kids are starting to bring this stuff into the house. I'm starting to hear words here or there. But a parent wrote to the New York Times to ask if the parents should be embracing this kind of language, like cringe, I don't know, like infusing it into the way that we speak. So the question here, Lauren, I'm gonna start with you. Should we embrace the slang? Or check into the nursing home now?
Check into the nursing home.
I do not think we should embrace the slang.
No?
I think that, also, like, as a kid, this is totally off the cuff, let them have their own language. I remember being young and wanting to have that space, and so, I don't want to sound ridiculous. Spoiler alert, I'm about to. I have a treat for everyone. But I think that we don't need to sound that crazy, and they should have their own thing. I recently got catcalled. It's so millennial to say catcalled. Someone yelled a Gen Alpha slang term at me at the park the other day, and they said, "Skibbity toilet riz." And my feelings were hurt, and I thought, oh my God, because it sounds terrible. No, I had to go home and Google and ask friends. Apparently it's good.
It is?
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's good because I will say that my son, recently I was showing him a video that I made and he went, oh, cringe. But the thing was, is he was right. Like I actually had to look at myself and realize when I showed it to him, it was actually a good gauge. So I think embrace the cringe. It might be trying to tell you something about yourself.
In our house, this is the only language I hear. This is
really?
I'm not even hearing English much anymore. And so my husband with Marqueza has, sorry, I'm talking about you again, Marqueza.
She's gonna send you a cease and desist as soon as the show is over.
I'm getting a call from her lawyer later.
Her lawyer's on the horn right now.
But Dad is always trying to do this with
no,
her.
he's not.
And I'm like, Ryan, you need to quit it. And then she'll yell, oh, Dad, you're so cringe when you say cringe. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't even understand what this word means. So just because I talk for a living, you know, when I get home, I stop talking.
Me too.
That's what I've learned.
Me too.
That's what I've learned.
Okay, I have a treat. I prepared some compliments for you all.
Oh.
In Gen Alpha slang. I need to use my cards because
Yes,
I have no
please
idea
do,
what I'm
yes.
saying.
Okay.
Mel, no cap. Your hot takes are bussin', never Delulu.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I understood.
Andrea, you're a certified drip monster, eating every look, no L's in sight.
Oh, that's okay.
You got that right?
Cynthia,
I understood it.
the T is your skibbity riz passes the vibe check, period.
Okay.
Lindsay, you earned
nervous.
I don't understand any of this.
You earned so many aura points on this segment, making you the Sigma.
Do you know what my favorite part about that is? Whoever was doing closed captioning there.
Well, you know what?
for you.
You know why you do have Riz? Because your fashion game, Miss Lauren Chan,
Oh,
is
thank you.
always on point. And I and my family. I'm going to bring up Marqueza again. She especially is obsessed with you on the Traders Canada. And so the fashion game, when you see the host, Karine Vanasse, obviously her fashion game's strong, but I've been watching you every day serve a look. So how do you put together your wardrobe for this show?
Thank you. Well, it was really daunting to do because you can be filming for up to 2 weeks and as short as 24 hours, which we saw the first murder with Chris. So after I survived death row that first night, I was really scared, and I'm so glad I got to wear my Philip Lim cape to breakfast the next morning. And I started front-loading my looks, going, I might run out of a chance to show these outfits that I brought. So thank you for the compliments. I wanted to show up in clothing that made me feel strong and armored and like myself and confident.
Cool.
And, you know, I'm always talking about the power of clothing to do that. And so that's why it's so important that everyone has access to clothes that make them feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us quickly what you're wearing?
Yes. Today I'm inspired by Karine Vanasse, our wonderful host at the Manor, and this is Isabel Marant and Chapova from Absolutely Fabrics on Queen Street West.
Looking stunning. Looking
Thank
stunning.
you.
And thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having
so
me,
much.
as always. Thank you.
We want to tell everybody you can watch The Traders Canada on Crave. New episodes come out every single Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern on CTV, ctv.ca, and also on the CTV app.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.